Her heart dropped. She spun toward the sound, toward the back corner of the Hartmans' private garden, just as a faint rustle rose from beneath the soil. For a moment, she thought she imagined it. Maybe a trapped animal, maybe her own tired mind playing tricks. But then she heard it again. A small voice. Weak. Hoarse. Help me. Lena dropped her pruning shears and sprinted. Her knees hit the ground so hard she felt the jolt in her spine, but she didn't care. She dug into the soft soil with both hands, soil spraying against her clothes, her fingernails tearing. Her breath shook as she scooped faster, faster, praying, begging. And then her hand hit something cold, something soft. Lena screamed. A tiny hand, Caleb's hand, was sticking out of the earth. No, no, no. Caleb? She cried, digging wildly until she uncovered his face. His lips were blue, eyes half open, chest barely rising. Caleb. Oh God, Caleb. His eyelashes fluttered weakly. Luna, I'm here. I'm right here. Stay with me. She lifted him into her arms, brushing soil from his mouth. The child was limp, cold, so light he felt like a bundle of twigs. She pressed her cheek against his nose. There was breath, faint and trembling. Help, she screamed toward the mansion. Somebody help, please. But the grand estate, Jonathan Hartman's multi-million-dollar palace, stood silent. Curtains drawn, doors shut. Not a single voice answered. Her throat tightened. She pushed to her feet, clutching the boy to her chest, and ran. Inside the mansion, her footsteps echoed as she raced down the marble hallway. Caleb needs a doctor, she yelled, but the staff scattered, avoiding her eyes. One maid muttered. Miranda said to stay out of it. If you love deep, emotional storytelling and billionaire conflicts that feel real and raw, join the Primestery Hub family. Like, subscribe, and stay with us and let us know where you're watching from, because every story here pulls you deeper into a world you'll never want to leave. So let's begin. The sound came again, soft, frantic, desperate. Lena Morales froze mid-step, her hands still gloved and covered in petals from trimming the rose bushes. The early morning air was cool, almost peaceful, but that tiny sound cut through the silence like a knife. Help! Her heart dropped. She spun toward the sound, toward the back corner of the Hartmans' private garden, just as a faint rustle rose from beneath the soil. For a moment, she thought she imagined it. Maybe a trapped animal, maybe her own tired mind playing tricks. But then she heard it again. A small voice. Weak. Hoarse. Help me. Lena dropped her pruning shears and sprinted. Her knees hit the ground so hard she felt the jolt in her spine, but she didn't care. She dug into the soft soil with both hands, soil spraying against her clothes, her fingernails tearing. Her breath shook as she scooped faster, faster, praying, begging. And then her hand hit something cold, something soft. Lena screamed. A tiny hand, Caleb's hand, was sticking out of the earth. No, no, no. Caleb? She cried, digging wildly until she uncovered his face. His lips were blue, eyes half open, chest barely rising. Caleb. Oh God, Caleb. His eyelashes fluttered weakly. Luna, I'm here. I'm right here. Stay with me. She lifted him into her arms, brushing soil from his mouth. The child was limp, cold, so light he felt like a bundle of twigs. She pressed her cheek against his nose. There was breath, faint and trembling. Help, she screamed toward the mansion. Somebody help, please. But the grand estate, Jonathan Hartman's multi-million-dollar palace, stood silent. Curtains drawn, doors shut. Not a single voice answered. Her throat tightened. She pushed to her feet, clutching the boy to her chest, and ran. Inside the mansion, her footsteps echoed as she raced down the marble hallway. Caleb needs a doctor, she yelled, but the staff scattered, avoiding her eyes. One maid muttered. Miranda said to stay out of it. Miranda? Lena's stomach twisted. Jonathan's fiancée. The woman Caleb feared but never explained why. The woman who always smiled too brightly and hated when Lena got too close to the children. Lena carried the boy to the sofa and grabbed her phone with shaking fingers. She called the only person she trusted. 911, she gasped. The boy, the Hartman's boy, he's been buried alive. He's barely breathing. Send help now. Minutes later, sirens pierced the quiet neighborhood. Paramedics stormed in, worked on Caleb, placed him on a stretcher. Lena followed them outside, her heart hammering so hard she thought it would burst. Jonathan Hartman finally appeared then, tall, imposing, and still in his sleep shirt. "What is going on?" he roared. His eyes locked on Lena, then on the stretcher. Shock shattered across his face. "Caleb? What happened to my son?" One paramedic replied. "He was found buried underground. Someone tried to suffocate him." Jonathan stumbled back, panic gripping his chest. And that was when Miranda emerged. Hair perfect, silk robe flowing, eyes wide with carefully practiced horror. "Oh my God," she whispered. "Caleb! Lena, what did you do?" Lena's jaw dropped. "Me? I found him like this. I heard him calling." Miranda clung to Jonathan's arm. "She's obsessed with the kids," she whispered loudly enough for everyone to hear. I told you. I told you she's unstable." Jonathan's eyes snapped to Lena, full of confusion, fear, and doubt. Lena felt her heart crack. The police arrived a minute later. Detective Avery Stone, tall and composed, asked sharply, "Who found the boy?" "I did," Lena answered. "He studied her, then Miranda, then Jonathan. Everyone inside. I need statements." Lena followed reluctantly, her clothes caked in dirt, her hands shaking. Miranda walked with calculated calm, pressing herself against Jonathan, whispering things Lena couldn't hear. Inside the study, Detective Stone questioned Lena first. "You expect us to believe you just heard him underground," he said. Her voice trembled. "Yes, I was gardening. I heard him cry. Detective, why would I hurt him? I love that boy." "And yet," Stone said, flipping his notebook, "you were alone when you found him. No witnesses." Lena clenched her fists. Someone buried him. Someone who had access to the garden. Someone who. Miranda stepped into the doorway. "Detective," she said sweetly, "I hate to interrupt, but I should warn you. Lena has been acting strangely. She's been overstepping boundaries, even frightening the children." Lena shot up from her chair. "That's a lie." Jonathan entered behind Miranda, refusing to meet Lena's eyes. "Lena," he said quietly, "just answer the detective." Her chest burned. She wanted to scream. Instead, she swallowed her frustration. Caleb was fighting for his life. That was all that mattered. Hours passed. The mansion buzzed with whispers, with fear, with Miranda's quiet manipulation weaving itself through every corridor. Jonathan grew distant, confused, torn. Lena slipped into the children's shared playroom. Isabella, 8 years old and sharp-eyed, sat curled in a corner hugging a stuffed rabbit. "Bella," Lena whispered, crouching beside her. "Sweetheart, were you awake last night?" Isabella trembled. Miranda said if I told, she'd bury me too. Lena froze. "Isabella, what did you see?" The little girl looked up, eyes brimming with tears. "Caleb didn't run away. He didn't fall. She took him. She took him outside when everyone was sleeping." Lena felt the room spin. "And she said," Isabella whispered, voice cracking, "if we ever said anything, the ghost of Mommy would come for us." Lena pulled her into her arms, anger rising like fire. Miranda did this. She knew it. But evidence mattered, not emotion. Later that day, Lena went into the laundry room to gather sheets. Miranda's robe was tossed on a chair. And that's when Lena saw it. Brown streaks beneath the hem. Dirt. Fresh garden dirt. Her heart pounded. She reached for the robe, but footsteps echoed outside. She stuffed it back and stepped away just as Miranda entered. Miranda smiled coldly. "Looking for something, Lena?" Lena forced her voice to stay steady. "I think you know what I'm looking for." Miranda stepped closer, her perfume thick and choking. "You should be careful," she whispered. "Curiosity has a way of getting people buried." Lena's blood turned to ice. Later that evening, while dropping off linens near Miranda's closet, she saw the drawer slightly open. Something poked out, a corner of a booklet. She pulled it gently. It was a passport, but not Miranda's. The name read Serena Cross. The photograph was undeniably her. Lena covered her mouth. Miranda, no, Serena, had a second identity. Why? Who was she really? Her hands shaking, she snapped a quick picture with her phone and slipped the passport back exactly how she found it. She needed Detective Stone. She needed someone to believe her. But before she could leave the room, she felt someone behind her. Miranda stood in the doorway. "Find something you like?" she said softly. Lena hid her phone behind her back. "I was just tidying. I know what you're doing." Miranda stepped closer, eyes dark. "And you should stop. Now." Lena swallowed hard. "You hurt Caleb." Miranda's smile twitched. "Accidents happen. You buried him alive." "And yet," Miranda whispered, "everyone believes me." No one believes the maid. Lena's breath trembled. You won't get away with this. Miranda leaned in, voice deadly soft. Watch me. Lena backed out of the room, her pulse pounding in her ears. She had to tell the detective. She had to protect the children. She had to expose Miranda once and for all. But when she tried to approach Detective Stone that evening, Jonathan intercepted her. Lena, he said, exhausted. I think you should take some time off. Miranda is upset. The children are scared. This is too much. Lena felt her heart break in slow motion. Jonathan, please listen. I can't. Not right now. Miranda stood behind him, victorious, touching his arm. Lena stared at her, at the woman who buried a child, and said quietly, I'm not going anywhere. And in that moment, she knew. Tonight, Miranda would try again. Tonight, Caleb wasn't safe. Tonight, everything would explode. Lena waited until the house settled into its uneasy night quiet, until the staff retreated to their quarters, until Jonathan locked himself in his study with a drink, until Miranda finished her dramatic, crying routine and disappeared upstairs. Every instinct in Lena's body screamed one truth. Miranda wasn't done, and Caleb, still in the hospital, wasn't her only target. Isabella was next. Lena checked on the little girl first. Isabella slept curled beneath her blankets, clutching her rabbit. Lena brushed her hair back gently. I won't let anything happen to you, she whispered. Isabella murmured in her sleep. Lena, don't let her take me. The words sliced straight through her chest. Lena stepped out of the room and closed the door quietly. She headed toward the main staircase, planning to confront Jonathan again, when a sound drifted from the guest wing. A clicking noise. Metal against metal. Her stomach tightened. She followed the sound silently until she reached Miranda's private room. The door was half open, just enough for Lena to peek inside. Miranda stood over a suitcase, packing in furious, jerky movements. Jewelry, cash, multiple passports, vials of medication, a syringe case. Lena's breath caught. Miranda muttered to herself, Stupid maid, stupid children. I should have finished it. Lena felt a wave of cold horror wash over her. Miranda wasn't planning to stay. She was preparing to run, and she was taking something dangerous with her. Suddenly, Miranda froze. She lifted her head slowly, as if she sensed she wasn't alone. Come out, Lena, she said softly. Lena stepped into the doorway, heart pounding so loudly she could barely hear. You're running because Caleb survived. You didn't expect that. Miranda turned, her expression morphing from annoyance to a cold, perfect smile. He should have died, she said simply. But you just had to be in the garden that morning. Lena's hands trembled. You buried a 6-year-old boy alive. Miranda shrugged lightly. He was in my way. And Isabella? Lena whispered. She told me everything. Miranda's smile vanished. Something darker slithered across her face. Children lie. She's terrified of you. As she should be. Lena clenched her fists. Jonathan will find out. Detective Stone already suspects. No, Miranda said. Jonathan believes what I tell him. Men like him always do. She reached into her suitcase and pulled out a syringe filled with a clear liquid. And Detective Stone will believe I acted in self-defense when I inject this into you. Lena's breath stopped. She stumbled back instinctively. Miranda stepped forward, syringe glinting under the soft lamplight. You're a problem, Lena. A small one, but still a problem. Jonathan will fire you and move on. But if you stay alive, you'll talk. And I can't have that. Lena spun and bolted down the hall. Miranda's footsteps followed, fast, sharp, determined. Lena, Miranda hissed. You can't run. But Lena didn't stop. She sprinted toward the main staircase, toward Jonathan's study. She burst through the door. Jonathan jumped up, startled. Lena? What the hell? Miranda tried to kill your son. Lena cried. She's coming right now. She has a syringe. Jonathan, she buried Caleb alive. Jonathan's face twisted with confusion. Lena, stop. Miranda entered calmly, syringe tucked behind her back. Jonathan, she said, voice trembling with practiced fragility. She's dangerous. She broke into my room. She accused me, Look at her hands. Lena shouted. She was packing to run away. Jonathan hesitated. Doubt flickered. Fear, too. He looked between the two women, torn and overwhelmed. Miranda saw it and acted first. She lunged. The syringe slashed through the air toward Lena's arm. Lena dodged by inches. Jonathan's eyes widened in shock. Miranda. What are you doing? For the first time, Miranda dropped the act. Her voice turned vicious, raw. She's ruining everything. Jonathan grabbed her wrist, struggling for control. Miranda fought back with surprising strength, screaming, "Let go of me." The syringe clattered to the floor. Heavy footsteps thundered down the hallway. Detective Avery Stone burst into the study, gun drawn. "Step away from her." Miranda snarled. "She's lying. They're all lying." But Stone wasn't listening to excuses. "Not anymore. We found your fingerprints on the shovel in the garden," he said coldly. "And Caleb woke up. He named you." Miranda froze. "No," she whispered. "No, that's impossible." Her face contorted. Anger, panic, disbelief all crashing together. Stone stepped forward, placing her in handcuffs. "Miranda Vale, also known as Serena Cross, you're under arrest for attempted murder, child endangerment, and identity fraud." Miranda's voice shattered into a scream. "You'll regret this. You'll all regret this." But Stone dragged her away, her threats echoing down the hallway like poisonous wind. When the door finally slammed shut behind her, silence fell over the mansion. Jonathan sank onto a chair, covering his face with trembling hands. "Oh God," he whispered. My son, my son." Lena stood a few feet away, still shaking, still processing the chaos around her. She watched him crumble, the reality hitting him like a blow. "She fooled me," he said brokenly. "I defended her. I doubted you. I doubted my own children." Lena stepped closer carefully. "You were manipulated, sir. She fooled everyone she ever met." Jonathan looked up at Lena with red eyes. "But you saw through her. You saved Caleb. And Isabella." Emotion thickened his voice. "Lena, I don't know how to thank you." "You don't need to," she said softly. "Just be there for your children now." He nodded slowly, swallowing his grief and guilt. Detective Stone returned later, offering Lena a small, tired smile. "You did good," he said. "If you hadn't kept digging, this would have ended very differently." "I didn't do anything special," Lena whispered. "You did everything." 3 days later, Lena stood beside Caleb's hospital bed. The little boy was awake now, pale, fragile, but alive. Isabella clung to her brother's arm, refusing to let go. Caleb looked up at Lena, eyes soft, voice a faint whisper. "You saved me." Lena's throat tightened. She brushed his hair gently. "I'll always save you." Jonathan entered the room quietly, carrying a bouquet of flowers and a face full of remorse. "I want you to stay," he said. "Not as staff. As family." Lena gasped. "Sir, Jonathan shook his head. "You protected my children when I didn't. You believed them. You fought for them. That makes you more family than anyone else." Tears filled Isabella's eyes. "Lena, please stay with us forever," she whispered. Caleb nodded weakly. "Don't leave." Lena felt her heart swell in a way she hadn't expected. She'd come here years ago with nothing. No family, no stability, no sense of belonging. And now, 2 broken children were asking her to stay. To be their anchor, their protector, their constant light. She leaned forward, hugging them both gently. "I'm not going anywhere," she whispered. When she pulled back, she saw Jonathan watching, relief softening his features. For the first time in a long while, the room felt warm again. Detective Stone stepped in briefly to give an update. Miranda, or Serena Cross, had confessed to crimes spanning 3 countries. Fraud, child neglect, identity theft, families destroyed in her wake. The Hartmans were only the latest. But the last. After Stone left, Lena returned her attention to the children. Isabella played with Caleb's fingers, whispering, "We're safe now." And for the first time, Lena believed it. Jonathan stood behind them, placing a hand gently on his son's shoulder, the other on Isabella's. The broken pieces of the Hartman family were beginning to fit again, slowly, painfully, beautifully. Lena stepped back, watching them, feeling the weight of everything lift from her shoulders. The fear, the danger, the nights she slept with one eye open, terrified for the kids. It was over. Later, as sunlight filtered through the hospital window, Jonathan looked at Lena again. "You saved my children," he said softly. "And you saved me from a very dark mistake." Lena shook her head. "I just did what anyone would." Jonathan smiled sadly. "No, most people would have walked away. You stayed." Lena looked toward Caleb and Isabella, their small faces full of trust. "They needed me," she whispered. Jonathan nodded. "And now, we need you even more." Lena didn't respond with words. She didn't need to. Her place was here, with them, always. As the evening sun dipped below the skyline, Lena stood by the window, watching the world outside. The horrors of the past days were fading, replaced by something stronger, something steadier. Hope, a second chance, a new beginning, a miracle born from courage. And in that quiet moment, Lena understood. She hadn't just saved 2 children. She had saved an entire family. And in return, they saved her too. If you want more stories filled with danger, love, power, and heart-stopping twists like this, make sure you subscribe to Prime Mystery Hub. Turn on notifications so you never miss the next chapter. Because trust me, what comes next will shake everything they thought they knew.